What's up, everybody? You are tuned into season 2 of the Elks Call presented by Shotgun Sports. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I am Catherine, aka Duven Elks.
And today we are joined by Edmonton Cricket TV reporter and sports comedy legend. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Myk Aussie. Myk, thank you so much for joining the show, man.
Yeah, well, CFL's not far away now, so bit of a rest before it starts, but summer's coming and CFL, absolutely love it, mate.
Well, exactly. How are you liking winter number 3 in Edmonton right now?
Mate, it's been pretty good, hasn't it? Like that real cold stretch of 2 weeks, but other than that, pretty crazy. So, yeah, looking forward to the spring and the training camp and cricket and lots of fun Aussie footy, but CFL, love the home games, your tailgate party. So, yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
Oh, exactly. I mean, man, we're stoked, always stoked to see you in the tailgate. Hopefully we're going to see your friend behind you in the green and gold. What is going on there, Myk? Who is that?
Well, this is... So I've been meaning to paint it for a while, but I thought I'd paint it especially for your show. This is a birdhouse. So my girlfriend's brother had a stroke a few years ago, and he makes up these birdhouses and other carpentry as well. And he shared, and I saw all these animals. I said, I want that one, the elk. So it's the elk birdhouse, and I've named him Ed the Elk after my equal favorite Eskimos player ever, Ed Hervey. So this is Ed the Elk.
Ed the Elk. That's cool. Tying it together, you know, the old with the new. I like it. I like it. And honoring a great guy that built it as well, right? So
definitely, I like the colors too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh, you got it. Green and gold is bold, right? So no, those are really nice. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show tonight. Before we get started, we definitely got to say thanks to everybody for tuning in on YouTube, which is Shotgun Sports Network. And then, of course, Facebook or X, or if you're listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts. So today's lineup, guess what? It's another stacked show. As always, we're going to open up with The More You Didn't Know, this time with Myk Aussie. Then we'll dig into Kathy's Herd Report, talking about the latest Edmonton Elks transactions and news. Following that, we'll give you an Edmonton Sports update with some help from Len. And then we'll cap the show with the Fan Forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Elks, the CFL, and the sports world as a whole. Be sure to blow up the Herd chat so you can get your comments and questions on to the show. So guys, let's kick this off. The More You Didn't Know with Myk Aussie, brought to you by the Winnipeg Terminal. Catch the flight with Joe and Mike every Wednesday, talking all things Jets and Bombers. Wheels up. Today, we're going to chat with Myk about a number of things, including his work in the sports realm, some recent CFL news, and the latest Elks news. So be sure to blow up the Herd chat with any questions or comments, and we will do our best to get them on to the show. Myk, before we get into the heavy questions, can you please tell our viewers about, and listeners, about your history in sports reporting and even sports comedy, which is one of our favorite parts about you?
Well, it started in Adelaide, South Australia. I went with my friend to the South Australian Golf Open, and there was about 10 of us in the interview with Greg Norman after he won that event. And then him and we started to talk about doing some stuff in Canada. Got a Grey Cup pass in 1999. Unbelievable in Vancouver. Had one of the first ever digital video cameras. Went to the Spirit of Edmonton 3 nights in a row. Got friends with a lot of people from Edmonton. Then I started doing the NFL. So went down, interviewed Darren Bennett, the Aussie, for the San Diego Chargers in the rooms against the Seahawks. And then went around the NFL, Pro Bowls, Super Bowls, and covered lots of Grey Cups as well.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Quite the history.
Well, and I mean, that kind of like leads us up right into our next question, right?
Yeah, I mean, Obviously, Mick, you're a CFL fan. You've cheered for many teams, and most recently, you've become a big Elk supporter, especially because of this Pick Six segment that you started in the Edmonton Elks. So, what was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. Like, I went to the rookies camp a couple of years ago because it was an Aussie mate of mine trying out for the punting job. I did a little video and put it up, and some of the guys at the Elks, the new fellas, Richard Bagan and a couple others, saw it and said, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then they were having a meeting apparently, and they had this Pick Six new show coming up, and one of the guys said, "Oh, let's get Myk Aussie to do it." So it started that way. I met Richard Bagan on the Elks Commonwealth field, and it just started with 6 questions. And then I had full creativity over it, and I didn't tell him what I was going to do. So the second show, I had a worn corn cob in my pocket and said, "Taylor Cornelius, get your corn out ready." And it just went from there. And the watermelon with the Riders one, and one of my favourite ones was Calgary versus Edmonton, distant Calgary, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, the Calgary one, was that the one with the Leafs chirp in it, Mick?
There was one I had like a school drawing board. I had all pictures of why Edmonton is better, including better stadium, better food, more Grey Cups, more Stanley Cups, all this sort of stuff. And Edmonton won 4-2 over Calgary. I gave them that the ski resorts were closer to Calgary. That was about the only one I gave them.
Okay, yeah. The Riders one was really good. And I think what's kind of interesting, Mick, is our viewers definitely going to recommend that everybody goes and checks out mykaussie.tv. But you've come such a long way since the Pamela Anderson cutout days, right? Like,
I've heard of that. I have seen the video, and I have heard of it. Yes.
oh, it's absolutely hilarious. And sports comedy, right? The fact that the Edmonton Elks picked you up for that trait and that skill of yours, that talent of yours, I thought it was very, very smart.
Yeah, it was like I said, I didn't tell Richard what I was going to do. So to see his instant reaction of my comedy was a big hit for me. And I spent hours preparing on think of ideas. So even though it was 2 minutes, 20 seconds ish, you can get a lot done in 2 minutes. And then I dissed the Alouettes owner, president. He liked that. He got a laugh out of it. So a lot of fun. And to be on Commonwealth's field was awesome as well. Either early in the morning or at night. We were there. It was great fun.
Oh, it's always nice being in the stadium, and when you're in the dead center of it, right, you get to see how big it is, and especially when it's empty, it feels like a big hollow basin, right?
Mhm.
It's a bunch of seats staring down at you. So it's cool you got to experience that. And
Yeah.
was that like did Victor have anything to do with that? Did he have any say in, or did Richie go for that? Like, was that you just pitched that to Richie and made that happen, hey?
No, they actually contacted me because they liked some of my videos and they saw the videos on Gabe Rentzie's show, and they contacted me and said, "You want to be part of a show?" I said, "Sure." And it just evolved from there. And obviously I got friends with Richard, and he comes to the tailgate at times as well. So great fella. He did the editing, and basically I just thought up of the comedy of what I could come up with for the shows and dissing the other teams within reason. You don't want to go too hard, right? But I love dissing the Riders and the Stampeders are the 2 teams I don't like them, so I diss them the most.
Oh, that's
Great.
funny.
That's great. That sounds fun.
Yeah. And
That's what every single content creator or interviewer or anybody wants to do. Just create good content, get some really good laughs, and not have to do the editing. So
well, and especially for a professional sports team as well, right? We're talking about the Edmonton Elks, which is still a very major sports organization. And in the football world, they're in the second biggest football league.
for sure.
And they have 75 years of history, which we see you, John, in the herd chat. What up, John? But we see you 75th anniversary, the Monday press conference. Yes, we will talk about some of that in a bit. But yeah, I mean, getting back to that, and let's talk about the Edmonton Elks a little bit more here. Big reason, obviously, why we're all here. The Edmonton Elks are trending towards selling the team. topic of the year.
Mhm.
A number of organizations are interested, such as Garrick Jones and his group, and around 12 companies have been served NDAs, meaning they're prime candidates to become owners of the Edmonton Elks. So, what's your thoughts on all of this, Mick? Should the Elks sell the team, and who should they sell to?
Oh, well, let's. I don't want to be negative, but the last 4 or 5 years has been really disastrous, hasn't it? Starting with COVID and then that Ottawa influence of the GM and stuff, that wasn't good. But also, why are they getting an American company to do the consulting? Park Lane, why not have a Canadian company doing that? That's my only negativity. And also, let's hope it doesn't go the way Calgary did. Like, I was in Calgary when Sid Goucher sold the Stampeders to Frederick so his son could play. I mean, it's an embarrassment for Calgary with all those oil-rich companies there, the head offices, and they sold it to an American businessman so his son could play. I want to make a movie about that one day. Seriously, it was absolute mayhem. So let's hope they get the right owner. And sure, you can make some money eventually, but I hear they want to pour in some money initially and maybe change stadiums. I don't know about that. That's a big cost. So, yeah, I think it's probably the right move because all of that fund they had, the Heritage Fund or whatever it's called, that's going down a bit, isn't it, eh?
Yeah, I actually, that just threw me for a loop. I know that these 12 organizations haven't been announced. We don't know who they are. So I actually hadn't even thought about the possibility of an American company coming in and buying it.
Very possible.
I don't know if I like that.
But whoever has the money right now, right? Whoever has the money.
Yeah.
And the sustainable money. It's the short-term money and it's the long-term money.
Yeah.
They're not looking for anybody to come
Very
in
true.
and muddle the business. They're not looking at anybody to reinvent the wheel. They're not looking for anybody to do anything other than run a professional sports business and organization. And the same way that, they're talking about Park Lane. Park Lane is involved with it. Why Park Lane? Well, Park Lane also was involved with another recent one. I want to say it was a New York or something like that, but there was another major transaction and it was involving another sports team, another major one of the big four or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why Park Lane's involved, is because they have the experience, and I get that. If you have the pedigree, you get the business.
Well, is there no Canadian companies that have the
why aren't we dealing with Canadian?
Yeah.
That's a very, very valid point. We should be. John here in the herd chat, the Elks heard the Turf District, Nickelback and Brett Kissel should buy the Elks. I've been waiting for this moment all my life.
Well, there's something to say about what I know there's a name for it. It escapes me right now, that everybody can put in a little bit of money to buy shares of a company, right? It's like
shareholders and options and like.
So sure, I'll throw in $200.
Yeah.
It's probably not enough, but just I'll buy like one little square foot of Commonwealth.
You got Ryan Messer in the herd chat, Redbird Capital. I don't know. Well, I mean, the CFL already shut down working with the XFL.
Yeah.
Redbird Capital, I don't know how much capital they actually have remaining after losing some money with the XFL. And then Ryan Reynolds should buy the team. That's another suggestion.
No, I think he's had enough of sports teams. He has enough sports teams.
Yeah, he has enough sports teams. But no, it is a very, very interesting subject. The team doesn't need to go that way because, like Mick said, the teams run out of money. Somebody needs to invest. And not having a stadium on your books as well, some act like it's a bad thing. Not having to deal with a stadium, especially one of that size and all of the costs that go with it, especially at that age, I don't know if anybody wants to buy Commonwealth right now. What do you think, Mick?
Well, especially the product on the field, too.
I want to be positive, but a couple of things drive me nuts. I reckon they waste some money. There's so many friggin' security guards around the place. It's ridiculous how many security guards they got there. And the other only thing that really annoyed me was when they overpainted those 3 beautiful paintings, Warren Moon, Sean Fleming, and I think Dan was the other one. Capley, I'm not sure on the third one. And they overpainted them with the Elks logo. I talked to Dave Jamison about that. He hadn't even seen that. And then he contacted a company. He says, yeah, Mick, you're right. They painted over that beautiful big picture of Warren Moon to get rid of history. That was stupid. Leave up the picture. Just put Elks around Warren Moon. I think they should repaint those 3 entrances. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah. Now, we have to remind ourselves, right? City of Edmonton owns the building. That would be an Elks organizational. That would be them making that choice.
Yes, yes.
And that is, yeah, the stadium is owned by the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even
But
the painting. And
they get to decorate it.
Yeah.
So the Elks painting that over, and that was during the days of New Elks, right. Edmonton football team, all of that stuff when the culture was basically reset, Bone was lost.
Yeah.
Dwayne Mandrusiak was out, XYZ.
Yeah.
It was just
that's unfortunate though.
You lose your history. That's what that building did. That's what the organization did with that building.
Definitely. Yeah, that's unfortunate. But let's bring it back to the guest of the hour, Mick. Enough talking about Elks for right now.
Yeah.
So Mick, you make regular appearances on Gabriel Morency's Sports Rage on Friday nights, which means that you've got a good eye for odds, betting, and futures. The Edmonton Elks are plus 2,500 to win the Grey Cup this year. So do you think this is accurate, or do the Elks make it out of the basement this year?
Well, actually, I went through and rechecked the odds last night, and you're right. My initial odds were 2,500. I checked Bet365, and they've gone up to 1,500. And I believe the Stampeders are the worst team predicted at plus 1,600. The Tiger Cats 1,500. Riders went up from 1,500 to 1,000. So there's been some changes after the free agency. Absolutely, that would be why. Red Blacks as well down there. But the Bombers are still favourite at plus 210 with the Argos at plus 225. So there's some of the odds to win the Grey Cup.
Nice.
Do you think that was just because of the free agency, or was that even, due to MBT being a starter?
Yes, you would be right there. Absolutely. That one as well. Of course. New quarterback. Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope he's really good. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I wouldn't say he's a great quarterback. I think he was good in a very good team. But I was looking, he actually went to 5 NFL teams. That's amazing. So he certainly traveled. And let's hope he's a very good quarterback. And I'll give you another pick. MOP. Let's hope Eugene Lewis can win the MOP, and that means that the Elks have had a great year.
I like that. Now, what would you say the over-under would look like for MBT finishing this season as starter? Not an over-under, but I guess a percentage, or what are the odds on that? The odds.
Well, initially I was a bit disappointed. They signed him. I'll be honest, I was a bit shocked. So was Gabe. We are both Trey Ford fans. Absolutely we are. I've come around to it. If his receivers stay healthy, and if Bethel Thompson stays healthy, and we get some good running back play, we can absolutely light it up on offense. A great receiver like Lewis is fantastic. And they got the guy from the Argos, Giddens Jr. He's got experience with Bethel Thompson. Injuries is the key, guys. You know that. You lose a couple of star players and you are in trouble, especially at quarterback. I think Bethel Thompson can play the whole year, but I'd love to see Trey Ford come in at that 10-yard line to punch in, run the touchdown or throw it.
And that would keep him fresh, right?
Yeah.
You want Trey Ford to still get exposure, to still get field time, but also not in that pure, you're the 1-and-1 guy, you're the 1-and-2 guy. You don't want him that extreme short yardage, but mix it up a little bit.
You want to give him confidence. You want to give him experience. You want to give him the chance to improve and to prove himself, but at the same time, not put all your eggs in one basket and hope that he's going to take it.
Exactly. Now, one last one on these
Mhm.
on these odds and futures here. Over under for a losing streak that would end Chris Jones's time in Edmonton. How many games does Chris Jones lose before he loses his job? Like, what are we saying? Like a 5? Like, I'm gonna say the over under is 5, or no, yeah, 5. If he goes on a 5-game losing streak, mayhem. What do you think, Mick? What do you think?
Well, I was a big Chris Jones fan. I met him in Calgary once. He was friendly. I liked what he did here when we won the Grey Cup in 15. But then I didn't like what he did in the Riders, getting those extra teams in and hiding those players. And Bo Levi Jeans, Mitchell dobbed him in. So I didn't like what he did in the Riders. That said, I do like him. And I think we're due for a year. And we really need it. So let's hope he's got his team together. I think he swaps out too many players, so they got to settle down that roster. Now, I wrote something down. I reckon if we're, say, about the halfway point, so that's 9 games. So I said if we're 1-7 after 8 games, I think he'll be gone.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's kind of what I was thinking too. What did we go at the beginning of the season last year?
0-9. It was 0-9. It was
So
0-9. Yeah, we started. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yes. So I think if we start, half the
0-9,
season, at the beginning of the season, the first 9 games, I would agree with you. After 5, if we have
5 or 6. I
5 or
think
6.
I've heard a lot of 6. I was getting a little edgy there with that 5.
Mhm.
So 6 is probably a little more realistic, but Mick's answer is also correct, because what happens if you get that one of hope?
Yeah.
You get that one win of hope and you're like, okay, this team might actually go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it depends, right? If it's in a row or if they're
Yeah.
kind of scattered,
Yeah.
kind of makes you feel a little bit better if you get a couple of losses, but hey, there's a win. But if you have, 5 in a row of losses, I think there would be a pretty big outcry here in Edmonton.
Totally.
So, all right, we didn't really quite get away from the Elks topic, so that's on me. But let me bring it. Now let's get away bit from the Edmonton Elks. Myk, Edmonton Cricket TV is on the rise, covering Edmonton's biggest cricket leagues. So how about you tell us about that a little bit more?
Yeah, look, I knew about it. I knew there was cricket here, but I didn't even realise how big it was. And my Aussie friend S2Ep6 is a very successful businessman here. He sells software to the governments, and he put in a fair bit of money. And obviously I got paid to produce 20 TSN-style cricket TV shows, went and filmed, interviewed, did the best I can. So there's about 1,100 players that play competitive cricket here in Edmonton. About 90% of them are from India or Indian background. A couple of Aussies, some Pakistan people, Sri Lankan, Bangladesh, but mostly from India, and they absolutely love their cricket, as you know. And there's 6 fields around Edmonton. So Philip wants to build more fields and really grow it. So it's a great sport. Scout, you know about it. So, yeah, it's got huge potential to be even bigger. And Canada are in the T20 World Cup in the Caribbean and United States in June.
Nice. And I told Catherine about the World
Yes.
Cup. I'm like, we got a team. Team Canada has a team. And what Mick is covering is essentially funneling to that Team Canada. So
Yes.
all of that talent, we need that talent. We need homegrown talent for every sport, right? In cricket, you never thought about it, and we play a little bit of it in high school. I was telling you earlier.
Yes,
It's one of
because
the sports.
I'm a little bit ashamed to admit that I was a little confused as to what cricket was. It's that you don't see it very often. It's like you say, it's not something that you come here to Edmonton and you figure there is, a league or a team or even a team that is going to a World Cup, right? So that's pretty cool.
It's all hockey, right? It's all hockey
Yes.
here in Edmonton Cricket TV. Since you've started doing it, Mick, I've actually seen it a lot more on my feeds. Really cool to see the coverage. And then I see that you guys are also covering abroad as well, getting some appearances out in the wild. So, across season everywhere else. It's really, really cool, man, to see what you guys are building over at Edmonton Cricket TV.
Thanks, man.
where can we find all of that information? Where can people find Edmonton Cricket TV?
Yeah, if you go Facebook or YouTube, Edmonton Cricket TV, you'll find it. Google it, obviously, and Facebook. We've got a good group there, and the YouTube. But interesting that we've got a beautiful field here down at Victoria Park, next to the golf course there. And if you're ever on a Saturday or Sunday or a night time during the summer, just go down and sit there and watch it. It's a beautiful environment, trees there, city in the background. So it really is a nice scenic park, Victoria Park. I'm sure you guys know where it is on the River Valley.
I was gonna say I recognize the scenery. You can see the towers in the background, and it looks like you're down by the golf course down at Victoria Park. So,
and I did ask, like, where do you play here in Edmonton? Because he showed me a couple of videos, and the fields look massive. Right, and I don't know where you can get a field like that here in Edmonton, but that totally makes sense where they would play it. That's pretty cool. We should go check it out.
We should. Okay, we got one last slight bonus. We're gonna talk about this in the fan forum later on, in depth with everybody in the herd chat. So everybody will touch base a little bit more on this later on. But Myk, we got to know your opinion. Recently, there's been some allegations that came up. Chad Kelly, we talked about it a month ago on the Elks call. Now, usually when a player gets suspended, usually when something like this happens, a player gets suspended. Usually the player will be told not to go on social media. An agent would usually recommend and read the room, right? Right now, Chad Kelly is still interacting heavily with Toronto Argonauts posts and CFL posts. And then as of, I think, last night or the night before, he went on Instagram and appeared to be drunken and had his shirt off and was swearing, and just overall seems like a guy is spiraling. What do you think of this Chad Kelly scenario? Do you think that maybe somebody should be talking to him or counseling him a little bit better during this time?
Wow. Well, interesting you say that. Just before I came on, I saw the TSN feed about his video that he recently did. I haven't seen it. I couldn't find it. But let's be honest, he's a dumbass. I'll tell you why he's a dumbass. Whether he tried to chat this girl up or not, you can't do that these days. He thinks he's say 2010. Since about 2010, you have to be very careful in a workplace what you say to women. Sure, you can chat them up a little bit, ask them out, but if you get knocked back a couple of times, you got to stop it, mate, because then they can report you and you in all sorts of trouble. Now, the reason I think he is in trouble, because sometimes you see it in the NFL, women want the publicity. They get the money from TMZ or whatever to tell stories on these footballers. Well, she stayed anonymous. So that's why I think he could be in trouble, and it could be serious. You got to say innocent until proven guilty, but he's a dumbass for even trying to chat her up more than once. There you go.
Totally. No, appreciate that opinion. And like I said, we're going to dig into this a little bit more. So maybe we'll reserve ours for now. But I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
No,
and
definitely.
And based on the allegations, and this is something we talked about as well, right? Like the allegations are very damning.
Yeah. I mean, and at that point, if you already are in trouble, don't go causing more trouble and act like a fool on social media. Simple as that.
Stay off social media.
Somebody take that guy's phone away.
Yes,
right now. Just take it away.
I know a small amount about agency work, and if I were his agent, I would take his phone away from him at this point.
Yes, we do have Ryan Messer here saying that Kelly has always been big-headed, like he's invisible. And maybe that's what happens, right? Once you start getting a little bit of, you start getting popular, you start getting a little bit of fame, you let it get to your head, you start acting a certain way, like nobody can touch you. Maybe the whole idea of innocent until proven guilty is really getting into his head that, he's not guilty. He's not guilty, so I'm going to go ahead and do whatever I want. But I completely agree. If I was in his PR team, if I was anywhere near the organization, I'd be like, stop it right now because it's making you look worse.
Shut her down. Shut her
Just
down.
stop. But how about we finish it on a nicer, more positive note? What do you think, Mick, about the upcoming 75th anniversary? What do you
Wow.
expect?
Yeah,
What would you like to happen?
sure. 75 years, that's a good milestone. Personally, I'd love to see Warren Moon here because I actually interviewed him at Super Bowl Media Day and he was friendly. But great to see a lot of the old players back would be fantastic. More people at the grounds that have decided to still complain about the name. I'd love to see the fans re-engage and just forget about it. Get your butts back there because it's a lot of fun, especially on a nice sunny afternoon or sunny evening and the tailgate party. So just wins, more wins, older players coming back, partying and so forth. It'd be great.
Oh, at tailgate 3 hours before the game this year. And Meg, it's interesting because you've been visiting the tailgate for 3 to 4 to 5 years, right? You've been in the tailgate for a while. How cool is it to see it finally expand for the 75th?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I used to go to the end zone pub before and after sometimes, and then I go, "Wow, there's a tailgate! Wow!" So I'm actually not sure if I missed a year or two of it. I have to ask you when it actually started. So it has built, and as we know, Calgary has a fantastic tailgate. I don't like the team, but I still have some friends down there. They set the standard in tailgate, but we have a lot of fun, as you know. I like the spirit of Edmonton. They have the bands playing, so I go over there as well. So walk around. Sometimes I don't even drink at all, and I don't have a beer until half time. So I just walk around, have a water, chat to you guys, have a bit of food, see who I can meet. So it's a lot of fun for an hour or so before the game.
Oh, it's an absolute blast, man, and it's always great to see you there, as well as Turb District, Spirit of Edmonton, like you said. They always got the K97 band rocking, the stage rocking with Tall Boy.
Yeah.
Tall Boy
Yeah,
was a big fixture. Will and the Wolf played on the other side.
Oh, did they?
And over in the
Didn't know
Fan
that.
Fest, the Cavis Reed pump up song. But no, man, it's always great, and it'll be really interesting to see this new setup this year. We're all going to do a trial run here. We got 66 days. We are Garrick Jones days away until we get to see you in the tailgate, Mick. But, man, we will let you hop off here. We are so thankful that you could join us today. Thank you so much. And, man, where can we find you? Where can our viewers and listeners find Myk Aussie?
Well, mostly up here, MyKaussie.tv, updated CFL sections, Aussie footy, NFL, cricket, golf, more sports, hockey, all sorts of sports, a couple of movies, and yeah, Twitter, X, I like that a fair bit. So MYK Aussie, kind of everywhere, right?
Awesome. MykAussie.tv. Go find him, guys. Myk, once again, thanks a lot, man, for joining us, and we'll catch you soon, brother.
Awesome. Go Elks. Let's have a great season, get some wins, and get more people there, and have a great year.
Let's go. Go Elks.
Go Elks.
Cheers, man. That was the Myk Aussie. Always a great time. He is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, we've run into him so many times over the years. And the pick six, that was huge. Elks, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they did another activation for the following year. You usually try to keep things
Right.
fresh, but I hope that he makes it back there to do another rendition at some point for sure.
Definitely, I'm sure he will.
Oh, huge, huge. Shout out to everybody in the herd chat. Excuse me. Chris Agar, we see you. Chad Kelly. We started it. Oh, we're gonna finish it later. We still got a bunch of show to go. We're gonna be
Yes.
talking more about the Chad Kelly fiasco
It is a
in
fiasco.
the fan forum. Yeah, his coach in college got fired for hiring escorts using his school phone. Yeah, Brian Messer there in the herd chat.
Bringing some more history.
And then we got John Kirby in the herd chat in regards to the name change. Fans are never going to get over the name change. No, they will not. Unfortunately, they will never get over the name change.
Old news. Old
Old
news.
news,
That's
old
not
news,
even.
fake news, fake
Let's
news.
not even touch on that. It's done and over with. They can
But
suck it up.
you know what? You know what we need to start?
Hmm.
Kathy's Herd Report. Next up is Kathy's Herd Report, where Kathy brings you the latest Elks news and transactions. The Herd Report is brought to you by Off the Reins podcast. The Birmingham Stallions are going for the three-peat, and Ryan Messer has you covered for the journey. Find OTR every 2 weeks. No, weekly now. Now
Oh no,
weekly. Now
yeah.
weekly on
There you go.
Shotgun Sports Network. Giddy up!
Yeah, love it. As for transactions, we don't have much again. It was, I mean, for 2 weeks, it was a pretty slow couple of weeks. On March 11th, we had American linebacker Nick Anderson and American defensive back James Wiggins that were signed.
Mr. Anderson.
And March 13th, we had American defensive lineman Jeremiah Jackson Trotter, who was signed. So that's it. That's it for transactions. Really, not much movements. I figure that that's going to be the story until training camp and the draft comes. So
Yeah.
I don't assume that we're going to see a lot more. But one piece of little news that we have on the Elks that did come to light is that AC Leonard, who is currently a free agent, hinted at retirement in a cryptic social media post.
Nice.
He appeared to announce his retirement from professional football in an Instagram post on Sunday night, though the message has now been deleted. I know that Morley Scott, he made a post on X where he was told that the Elks had made an offer to AC Leonard, but that offer would have been a raise, but he said no. So the Elks ended up spending that money on free agency. So what do you think about that?
I think what's happened here is obviously he got salty because he outpriced himself. And AC Leonard, like you said, he was given the highest offer by the Elks. He said no. The Elks spent the money.
Yeah.
They spent the money. Why? Because they have to get competitive now. They can't wait around for an aging AC Leonard. An AC Leonard who still has some tricks up the sleeve, but they're running out. You're getting a little short in the sleeve, long in the tooth, you know?
Yeah.
So I loved AC Leonard on the team. Now he's going to have to take a discount to play somewhere because he outpriced himself. This happens year in, year out. You have different positions that have a different market pricing. They go down and they go up. Running backs flooded over the last couple of years.
Well, and
now a good running back is starting to get a little harder to find, but
Yeah.
for 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years,
Right.
expendable. It was replaceable, very
Yeah.
replaceable. Sorry.
And you've said it before that this is also a younger team. We're looking for younger talent. We're looking for new talent as
Yeah.
well. And we have some really good running backs as well. So it might be a position that perhaps is not 100% necessary
Yeah.
for the Edmonton Elks. Do you think he's going to retire?
Yeah. I think that he's gonna try one more cracker. No, I think he's gonna wait by the phone. I don't think he's gonna quite retire yet, but if he has a job opportunity, like a real job opportunity, then it's gonna happen. If he has a football job opportunity, then maybe he'll wait for the next 3 to 4 months. Because realistically, you're not going to go without work for more than 3 to 4 months, right? So it's how long do you want to wait without work? Really, that's the question. How long? Because these are guys that are making similar wages in a lot of circumstances, or at least a relatable wage to what we still make.
Yeah.
So do you want to go 3 to 4 months without?
Did he try to go to, say, the UFL or?
No, but I mean, I honestly don't know too much about what he does in the off season and what his lifestyle is like in the off season. There could be a number of reasons, right? It's a personal thing. He could have a family emergency pop up and now he has to retire.
Yeah.
He still has the opportunity to play.
Yeah.
So you weigh that out. Ah, man. How nice would it be? And Chris Jones is the wait by the phone kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jones tells you to wait by the phone.
Mm-hmm.
What did Myk Aussie just talk
Yeah.
about? The
Yeah.
whole second team fiasco,
Right.
a Chris Jones
Yeah,
fiasco out in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Had a whole second team.
Yeah.
That's our GM head coach. But don't be surprised if AC Leonard shows up. Training camp, injuries happen,
Right.
guys miss marks. You could all of a sudden have a weak group, right? And you need to have AC Leonard back.
Like
and now
you
you're
say, it
going
might
to
be
him.
on a discount though.
It'll be on it
So-
will definitely be on a discount. AC Leonard is not going to get the $200,000 plus that he was looking for.
Right.
He's going to be making 100 to 150 ballpark.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, I guess. I really don't know how that's going to unfold.
No.
I mean, I do agree that he did seem a little salty with that cryptic Instagram post. Like, okay. Like,
But
who
the
are
Elks
you, a
off-
15-year-old?
Bro, the Elks offered you the money. Like, AC Leonard, we love you. AC's so cold. Like, I'm a refrigeration mechanic. I love AC Leonard.
Jesus.
But the reality is that the team had to move on
Yeah, no.
if the deal wasn't there.
Business is business. Like they
It's
can't.
business. It's a football business.
He could be the best player on the planet, but if it doesn't make sense and from a business perspective, from a budget perspective, then it's just not going to happen. I mean,
Speaking of which, Shohei Ohtani, his translator, just got nailed with a bunch of stuff. So, illegal gambling, and Shohei Ohtani knew about it and paid it off. And that stuff's wild. I wish we had a baseball podcast, but we would leave it for that. You got more info though.
yes, I mean, but another piece of news that we did get is that the coaching staff was finally announced. We have Chris Jones as the head coach and general manager. Jason Shivers. Am I saying that?
Shivers.
Is it Shivers? Like English, I tell you. He is now the assistant head coach, defensive coordinator, and linebackers as well. We have Jerry Jackson as the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Marcus Howell, he is the receivers coach and pass game coordinator. Steven Sorellis as the offensive line coach and run game coordinator. Marcus Klund, he's a defensive backs coach. I might be butchering some of these names, and I apologize in advance for that. Nate O'Neill, he is the defensive line coach. Albert Puri, he is the running backs coach. Takobi Cofield, he's the assistant offensive line coach, and Eric Craig, he's the strength and conditioning coach. So,
and Rick Saratella, down U.S. special consultant, U.S. consultant for the Edmonton Elks, future guest on the show. Got to get him on. Also, Steven Sorrell's big barbecue guy. We gotta talk barbecue with Steven Sorrells at some point. So we'll see what we can do.
Let's see. There you go. And the biggest change was, of course, that Chris Jones has now dropped the title of defensive coordinator and is handing that title to Jason Shivers to return to the green and gold.
Yeah.
Shivers will also be the assistant head coach and the linebackers coach. So,
can we talk about?
What do you think? Yeah. What do you think about that? Why?
That's
what
great.
do you think about that? Do you think it's great?
It's interesting because Chris Jones is a defensive coordinator first. He is naturally a great defensive coordinator.
So why didn't he take that position and gave away the head coach?
Because Shivers is a guy he can trust. Shivers has done work on his teams and similar work, but like just in Saskatchewan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was doing, was defensive coordinator. Defense wasn't that great last year. Personnel also wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
He probably did the best that he could with what he had. Chicken soup out of chicken,
yes.
you know what?
Yes.
It's Saskatchewan.
For one, I'm glad that he's dropping some responsibility because clearly it was way too much for him.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's passing on some of his duties and responsibilities to somebody else because
he was not doing all of that, like we've talked about on the Elks call before. He was not wearing all three of his hats the right way.
No.
It was an absolute mess, right? So at least bringing it down to GM and head coach, which GM, he also has G. Roy Simon doing a lot of the GM duties.
That's true.
they tag team that very, very well, to the point where G. Roy Simon is going to be able to get an opportunity soon
Right.
to be a GM elsewhere.
That's true.
He may step up through Edmonton. I don't know, but a GM opportunity is coming for G. Roy Simon. We're going to talk about G. Roy in a bit. So,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I do think it's good that Shivers is coming in. It's a guy that Jones can trust.
Mhm.
You want a Shivers in there. And also freshen it up a little bit. Last year it was all right. We did all right. It was defense was probably one of the better phases on the team. Still left a lot to be desired.
Yes. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what those changes will bring. I mean, we clearly did see that some changes needed to be made on the, just overall the coaching staff needed to change in some ways. And we do have some coaches that are coming in with some pedigree as well and some experience.
Right.
Clun was the writers DB coach for the last 2 seasons, and Cofield played for Jones in Saskatchewan back in 2018, and he played parts of 3 seasons with the Riders as well. So it's good. I mean, having experienced guys in there that know how Jones operates and how he runs things, I think is important, and hopefully we see the results this year.
Yeah, really, really hoping for it. And obviously, you knew that he was going to pick up either some of his guys from his Saskatchewan days, or guys that he knows and guys that he's familiar with. Chris Jones has a traveling pack. He has
his guys.
He comes with a suitcase, right? And it's not quite the Deion Sanders Gucci. It's nothing quite that fancy, but I think by adding that familiarity to the team, and also like Shivers was on the 2015 team. We have to remember that he has some pedigree himself, like you said, right?
Yes.
It's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see it, like, bare minimum. It's a 500 team this year.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's Chris Jones's job. And the suitcase is
good. At that point, somebody's got to take the blame for it, and most likely it will be Chris Jones. So
he's definitely fallen on that sword.
Yeah, we'll see.
Shout out to Nathan Byer in the herd chat. What's up? Got to be fresh, of course. And yeah, real quick, John Kirby here informing everybody that you can you can pre-order your McLeod Bethel Thompson jersey at the team store. Shout out to our girl Christine slanging those jerseys down at the.
That's a lot of letters.
McLeod Bull. So speaking of McLeod Bethel Thompson, all the letters of McLeod Bethel Thompson.
That's a lot of letters.
Gotta squeeze them in on that jersey.
You gotta somehow get him in there.
But Ford is 4 letters.
Yeah. What about that Trey Ford? I mean, that's another piece of conversation that has come across here lately. I know that we saw a Giro Simon interview. How about you tell me a little bit more about that one?
Yeah,
I know you
3 Down.
saw that.
Well, 3 Down Nation had it. They put up the piece. G. Roy Simon had been asked about what he thinks of Trey Ford and where he's at in his development. And he basically said Trey Ford is a great playmaker, but he's not a great quarterback. He's not a great player, is what he said. He didn't quite say it that way, but he's a great playmaker in this league right now. But he's not quite there as a player. That's kind of how he put it. And when he went on to describe what that means, he hasn't had a vet to show him how to show up on time, how to walk into the room and address everybody, how to do all of these small things when you're a part of an organization. Which, when you're part of a sports organization, life is a lot different. You do say hi to everybody in the morning, and there's a certain respect, and there's a certain handshake, and there's, and let's talk about Michael Riley. Michael Riley, he was notoriously known for showing up extremely early, going home very late, running plays, running installs, going through film. that kind of hard work is something that comes with time. It's just like when you're a teenager and you get your first car and you drive it into the ground and you do everything with it and you treat it like trash and you do the oil changes late and this and that and the other. And then you're 40 years old, you have your car that you're making payments for, or you got your big fancy truck and you're doing the oil changes on time and you're changing the tires out on time and you're not accelerating off the start and this and that. Things come with age.
Yeah.
So I can understand what G. Roy Simon is saying by, saying that Trey Ford hasn't had a veteran and needs that veteran to bring him through. And they obviously want him to be a part of the organization going forward.
Yeah.
They really want Trey Ford.
Yeah. I mean, and it's just like you say, it's age and experience as well, right? It's common sense and it's common knowledge that when you are a quarterback, that is a position of leadership, right, for your team. And even if it's not, written in stone, and that's what it is, it is implied that a quarterback has to be a leader of the team. Trey Ford is young. He's young in the sport, professionally, playing in the CFL, playing for the Edmonton Elks, young in general. He still has a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And we have talked about this before, and we know that that is probably the number one reason why MBT was brought to Edmonton. Well, maybe number two, because number one, he's an experienced quarterback. He can do plays. He can get us to where we need to go, probably. But at the same time, like you say, Trey Ford is a really valuable asset. We don't want to let go of him, but he has to develop. He has to spend the time learning all those intricacies of being a leader and what it takes to be a leader.
Yeah, the intricacies, exactly. Yeah, you got this. No, no, that's exactly it. And he does need to learn those, and unfortunately, he's not quite there yet.
No.
And it will come with time.
And Jones was asked if the Elks are getting calls about Trey Ford about a trade, and Jones said no. That they asked if he would consider trading Ford, and Jones is definitely not considering that option. He truly believes that Ford is the future and believes that MBT can help him develop into a solid quarterback at the pro level. So even Jones himself, we've talked about this before, right? Asking like, oh, what's Jones' issue with Trey Ford? Why does Chris Jones hate Trey Ford? But we actually don't see how Trey Ford is outside of the field. We just get to see the product that he puts on the field and what he presents, and it was great for us. It was fantastic for us. And we ran all of our beliefs on Trey Ford based on what we saw, but we didn't see anything behind closed doors. We didn't see how he acted in the locker room. We didn't see how he acted towards his teammates. Maybe there is more than just being a naturally good athlete and with natural talent for football. There's a lot more than just being that. He has to learn all of the other things.
Well, and this brings me back to one of the media members who had posted saying, wow, the difference between what fans think of Trey Ford and what actual coaches and members of football organizations CFL in the CFL. It's crazy how different these thoughts are and how different these opinions are. The people that actually do football as a business, not as a pleasure, not as entertainment, the people that actually do football as a business did not see the big shiny stars and roses that everybody else did when it came to Trey Ford. And it's great that we have that Canadian talent. It's great that we have Trey Ford. Waterloo coming up through Waterloo. Shout out Waterloo Warriors. Great organization. But I get that we're excited about that. And there's a couple of fans that are on social media and they go pretty hard on the opinions, and some of them have had this opinion since the very beginning that Trey Ford is not all that he seems to be. And I think he needs an MBT. Like Ryan Messer said here in the herd chat, MBT is an amazing leader. He will bring Trey Ford through. It depends on how long Trey Ford wants to stay here.
Yes. I think that's going to be up to him. And the problem with young players that reach that level of Chad Kelly importance and fame.
He's just
is
always
that-
immature for life, that guy. But
is that hopefully he doesn't let it go to his head to the point that it affects his ego,
yeah,
right? Because then at that point he's going to walk away.
Yeah.
If he's not getting what he wants from the Edmonton Elks after the season that he had, or what he did for the team, or however he may see it, I'm just making assumptions here, but let's just hope that he is mature enough to take it down a notch and humble himself a little bit and learn and take the opportunity that has been given to him to learn from a great leader. You've said it before with Michael Riley, right? When you have the opportunity to learn from somebody that has been through it, you as a quarterback that has just started your career, you're not going to get those kinds of opportunities very often. So I hope that he takes it for what it is. He absorbs everything that MBT has to teach him, and he just becomes a great, great asset to the organization.
Well, and time again, I've seen CFL quarterbacks that look like studs for a season. They go be a starter elsewhere, and then they flop. We've seen it here, right? Myk Aussie. He was a stud in Calgary for a season. Right. Then we went ahead and signed Arbuckle off of the Toronto Argonauts because he was sitting as a backup. We thought we had the guy, and then we install him into a horrible team anyways.
Yeah.
And everything flops, right? And now Myk Aussie, he might be a fringe backup option in the league for the next 5 to 10 years. And really, is that sustainable for you? Well, if you're making 150 to 200K, then that's not bad. But that's like the maximum for a CFL backup. Right? So Myk Aussie, he's losing his opportunities to actually step up through. And you only have 3 to 4 to 5 years.
Right.
Tre Ford, if he comes up through an MBT-led system for 2 to 3 years, which G. Roy Simon has also said that he wants MBT here for a couple more years.
Right.
It's not just this year. They signed him for the one, and they want to get him for a couple more. So don't be surprised that MBT stays for a couple more years, especially if we have really good progress with this team.
Yes.
MBT is not going to ditch a working project.
Nope.
Any good athlete, and especially if there's money there, he get him paid, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this whole situation, I would love more than anything to see both Tre Ford and MBT, a Tom Wilkinson and Warren Moon type. You have that 1 and 2. You have a grizzled veteran, and you have an up and coming.
If we get to the point that it doesn't matter who's on the field, that they're gonna perform and it's gonna be a great game, I think that's a win.
Yeah.
But we just gotta get there, right? I mean, Tre Ford is an amazing athlete. He's a really good quarterback. He just has
He has missing pieces.
Yes.
He has missing pieces. He needs to get the missing pieces, and in order to do that, it's going to take time. It's going to take riding the pine, and of course, you know what? One of the worst things you could do for anybody's development is giving them a promotion and taking it away the next year.
Yeah.
Come on. So in football and in sports, it is a little bit different. Does Tre Ford, should he feel that way, or is he entitled to his feelings? Of course he is. Everybody is, but especially being upset about losing the starting gig once again, sure. But
and
if you don't have the pieces.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? I mean, we didn't see much of Ford. That's what I mean, that we made a whole lot of assumptions based on just his product on the field, which was great. But, how many times did we try to make it a point to go down on the field after a game looking for Tre Ford, and he was gone already?
Yeah,
right?
Even at the end of the season.
Like in many ways, that seemed kind of arrogant in a way.
That goes back to what G. Roy was saying about you got to know how to win, you got to know how to lose. That's also things that he said in that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. No, but that's exactly it. If you are getting salty right off the get-go because you had a loss and you can't put up a face for a whole bunch of kids that are super excited to get your signature after a game, maybe you have a few things to learn there, right? And that was that's how I saw it. It wasn't necessarily the best look.
Yep.
We saw it a lot of times that players were angry. They were mad right after a loss, and they were on the field and they were mad, but they were still out there with
They were
smiles
still
on
out
their
there. That's the
face,
thing, right?
signing footballs for little
Yeah.
kids, right? And especially with a quarterback, how many times we tried to get a signature out of Trey Ford and we just never did because he was never there.
Yeah, so he has some development and some work to do, and we obviously want him on the team.
Mhm.
He is a shining star in this league.
Definitely.
With the development, you
Yeah.
need the development. So, yeah, let's shut her down on that one. That was a great news and updates. Holy, that was
a lot going on, and
for
with not a lot of
transactions.
things going on.
Yeah, and two transactions, but a whole lot.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Daryl Henderson in the herd chat. I like this. I wouldn't have called him the starter, just the guy that started games down the stretch. Kind of like when a team fires a coach and an assistant elevated to interim head coach. An assistant is elevated to interim head coach.
Mhm.
Correct, Daryl. I love that analogy because that's all that it is. And I think that people, and even Trey Ford himself, because obviously you're the starter for a game, right? Once you're the starter, you get to say you're the starter for the week. But then when you start 3 to 4 to 5 times in a row, you're like, oh, this is my team. I am the starter. And we all need to remember he was the guy that started games down the stretch for 2 years in a row.
Yes.
So, once again, he's entitled to feel however he wants, but
of course, he's young.
He also still requires the development, and that's why MBT is here.
Yes.
And I think MBT is a great guy to do it. He is a Michael Riley type.
I know. I still think about his 30-second speech once in a while. It was so good.
You think about it when I'm not here. I'm just kidding. That's a good time to start the Edmonton Sports Update with a little bit of help from Len. Today's Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herdy's. Sometimes we roast a smoke, and sometimes we smoke a roast. We're excited to announce that smoked roast beef sandwiches will be coming to stall number 182 at the Edmonton Elks tailgate party. But don't beat us there, meet us there. 3 hours before kickoff on Edmonton Elks game day at Commonwealth Stadium. Herdy's, we smoke the meats. The Edmonton Oilers square off with the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday night, which will surely be a classic for Hockey Night in Canada. Puck drop is at 5 p.m. Mountain. Final weekend of the season for the Edmonton Oil Kings. This weekend features a Saturday night in Red Deer, then Fan Appreciation Sunday at 4 p.m. rematch with the Red Deer Rebels. Both the Sherwood Park Crusaders and Spruce Grove Saints are on the road this weekend. We will not see the Crusaders at the Sherwood Park Arena until Friday, March 29th, when they host the Okotoks Oilers. The Saints do not return to the Grant Fuhr Arena until Sunday, April 7th versus Okotoks. The Crusaders could clinch home ice in the playoffs with a win and a Blackfalds loss. And Pay It Forward with Football is a charity based on the simple good deed of affording a family night out at an Elks game. An afternoon of bowling with a couple of Elks players is as cool as a fundraiser gets. Follow them on your favorite social media genre. For more on the Edmonton sports scene, check out Len's weekly sports articles on shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. Oh, John Kirby in the herd chat. Yeah, because this weekend I was going to say something seems off about that update.
Oh,
we have an update. We have an update fix.
Making some changes.
So it's team awards. It's team awards this weekend for the Edmonton Oil Kings. Okay. It's team awards.
So Edmonton it's just one game, and it's on Sunday for the Edmonton Oil Kings fan
appreciation was last Sunday. Team awards this Sunday.
There you go.
Thank you, John Kirby, with the assist.
Very
also, big thanks to Len for the Edmonton Sports Update. Get over there, shotgunsportsnetwork.ca for your updates. All right. guys, the affiliates. Let's talk about these affiliates real quick. RoyalRetros.com. Catherine,
Hmm.
you got that picture of that Warren Moon jersey?
Yeah, the one.
The one, number
Hey,
one.
if we end up getting Warren Moon this year, what do you want to wear?
You want to wear this jersey,
Coming back.
10% off over at RoyalRetros.com. Use code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no space. Code Shotgun Sports, Warren Moon inspired jersey, we're going to call it. But it's a
If he shows up this year at the stadium, wouldn't it be super cool to be wearing
one of those. It would be sick.
Mhm.
Guys, they got some really sweet throwback CFL merch over at RoyalRetros.com. Once again, use code Shotgun Sports to get yourself 10% off. Treat yourself. It's throwback season. There's nothing better than a good throwback.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. This is considered throwback 2005. We getting old. Fanatics, we are affiliated with our good friends over at Fanatics. Think you guys have heard about them. Hit the link in the description. Shop online with Shotgun Sports and Fanatics. There's always a sale over there. Like, just recently, I saw like a 20% off or something. Then I clicked it the next week, 50% off. Always something crazy over at Fanatics, so go check them out. Biggest one though, Lather, guys. Lather. We went ahead and we torture tested the sweet ambassador pack that we got. We got some barbershop gear, some good barbershop scent. I like that scent. Sandalwood bourbon is still my favorite. For a natural deodorant with no aluminum in it, I've been looking forever for one that actually works. This deodorant lasts definitely at least 12 hours, and I push it to 24. And this has probably been like the best that I've smelt in a long time.
There you go.
You would attest.
Thank you, Lather.
Thank you, Lather. So yeah, guys, we went ahead and torture tested that package that we showed you on that last episode, and it is crazy.
Their hand creams, their body creams that they have.
The
I mean,
creams,
you know,
the
it's
body
supposed to
butter,
be
body
the
butter,
yeah,
body butter.
And you know, it's got a little bit of a girly scent, so I absolutely love it. It makes everything around me smell fantastic, including the cats after I brush them.
Yeah, and best part is they are extremely natural, if not 100% natural. So, guys,
don't get me wrong, I don't put it on the cats. I just put it on my hands and then I pet them and it gets on the cats. But,
yeah, we aren't slathering.
But they are natural, so it would be okay.
We don't slather the cat in lather, but I'm telling you, Shotgun Sports 20. Shotgun Sports 20 is the code 20% off over at Lather. Highly recommend. I gotta make sure I don't buy too much lather.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
You don't need that much lather.
'Tis the season. It's lather season.
Yeah,
it's throwback season and it's lather season.
there you go.
All right, moving right along. Fan forum. Let's open up the fan forum. In this segment, we talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Guys, blow up the herd chat so we can get your comments on to the show. Chad Kelly. Let's
We
bring it.
We touched on it a little bit with Myk.
Is this a throwback?
To like half an hour ago?
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Okay. Like, just please. just do it. Okay. To speak on a recent issue in another CFL organization that we literally just mentioned, Toronto Argonauts quarterback Chad Kelly, who is not suspended during an ongoing investigation, has made an appearance on Instagram Live while half naked, swearing, and potentially inebriated. Should the Argonauts have suspended Chad Kelly during the investigation? Yes. I'm just gonna say it real quick. Yeah, yes.
They should have suspended him.
They should have suspended him. The reason why is because you would not have this stuff happening.
I think the reason why they might not have suspended him is because it makes him look guilty. Like if you suspend somebody, then you're like, oh yeah, this is probably going to go really bad, so I just don't want anything to do with this guy.
Yeah, I guess
So-
that's a fair point, because if it was a criminal investigation, it's a little bit different, right?
Yes.
If it's criminal, they have to suspend them.
These are still allegations.
Well, it's a lawsuit.
Yes, but have they been to
No,
court? Have they
no, it's
gone through the
allegations. It's
entire?
allegations. You're
It's
right.
still in the allegations
But even,
phase
you know
of
what?
it.
Even in these kind of instances, though, where it's not criminal, in the NFL, they still get suspended.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't. The question is, well, no, yes, you did ask me if it should they have. I think the reason why they didn't is because of that, and yes, maybe they should have, because that just it sets like a
A precedent.
to
Set an example. Yeah.
other leagues and anybody else. I mean, we've seen it. Mick talked about this as well. You know, nowadays, men and women as well, we all have to be very careful as to how we conduct ourselves in a professional setting. 100%. There are lines that shouldn't be crossed. And if you go ahead and cross them enough so that somebody makes allegations anonymously at this point against you, they should be taken seriously.
Well, and you can't act like that in the workplace, right?
No.
Even if that's the allegation, there's nothing criminal in it. Let's say there wasn't even a lawsuit, and that's the rumor that came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's any other workplace, you're fired.
Yeah.
But because you're Chad Kelly, which is the starting quarterback for CFL team,
Yes.
we're talking CFL team.
Yeah.
Chad Kelly makes more money than, sure, what, 98% of the league or whatever, right? Like, crazy amount. He makes a good amount of money for what he does. That doesn't make you any bigger or better, or it doesn't make you a god. And I wish I knew a lot more.
Yeah.
But based on rumors that come out about the Toronto Maple Leafs, let's say, and how they treat their core four, and how there's a lot of special treatment around that organization over there, right? It's very, very interesting. I think that Ryan Messer here in the herd chat, but it's a bad look to not suspend him until they do an investigation themselves.
I agree.
Newsflash: they aren't doing an investigation
They are
at
not?
all. Well, they're not. They're basically sitting back and waiting for everything to
So they're just
go
letting
by.
the lawyers do the thing.
That's it.
They're not actually doing an investigation.
They're not looking into. Now, mind you, maybe there's a private one.
Do you think it's going to be a settlement and it's not going to go to court?
No, I don't know the particulars, but yes, it will more than likely go to court. Like, they'd have to pony up probably a lot of money, and even then, a lot of money has probably been offered to her. But we're talking the CFL. We're not talking the NHL.
Yeah.
We're talking the CFL. We're not talking the NFL. So there's no millions of dollars to whip at somebody to make a problem go away. If this chick feels more than $2 million offended, she's gonna rip apart his career for what she did to her career. And that's why this legal proceeding exists.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, regardless of all of that, right? You still, you know that the public eye is on you.
Yeah.
If these kinds of allegations are on you and you're going through this procedure and there's a lawsuit and you know everybody is looking at you with a magnifying glass, why are you acting a freaking fool on social media? Why are you doing these things? Why do you think it's even appropriate for you to not be doing anything outside of, you know, literally going to church and praying, because that's the best look that you can give to the public eye, you know, that you're a good boy? But instead, like, is this a spiral? Is he just spiraling down? Are we going to see a lot more reckless behavior out of Chad Kelly as he's going through all of this? It's like we said it before, somebody take that man's phone away.
Yeah, and it's history repeats itself as well, right? History repeats itself. Chad Kelly has done similar things before.
Yeah. Has he?
Yeah, he's already been busted for doing similar things before. He's that's what kind of ruined his career before. That's what ruined his NFL career.
That's dumb. Why is he? Like, I do agree. He should have been suspended.
Well, it's like
100%.
I want to
I
say it
know that
happened
he
in college.
probably.
I want to say what happened
Yeah.
in
Oh,
college.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah,
You did tell me
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
You did tell me about
But
it.
it
But
led to it's the beginning of the end for that guy. Yeah.
well, clearly not, because he still went on to have a very successful career after that.
Well, I meant in the NFL, but yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
sure, his dreams could have been a lot bigger than that, but he also could have had his entire, career right up after college being destroyed by that, but clearly it didn't, right? Whether it happened or not, I'm not sure. He got away with it or not. He still managed to create a very successful career after that. And now he's back at that point. What
Yeah.
does that tell you about a person, right? And what do you really want? If you're a member of the Argos organization, do you really want a person like that being the face of your team?
And the league, like
Being
Chad
the
Kelly became the face of the league
right.
as well.
He was MOP last year.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, he was MOP last year. So you're correct. Do you really want a man like that has multiple instances of misconduct, we'll call it at this point? Do you really want a person like that being the face of your organization and the league?
I don't want him handing out autographs to the boys or to my daughter or whatever, right? Like that.
Yeah, like,
Like
what
like
an idiot. He just destroyed his career.
we'll see. We'll see what
Hopeful.
happens with it. But I can tell you
Yeah.
right now, his agent sucks. He has horrible media training right now. Like I don't know what happened to his media training. I really don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But
Well,
somebody's got to tell him to put the phone down.
see, and that's the funny thing, right? Because so many times we've talked about this before in a few episodes, and we're like, innocent until proven guilty, innocent until proven guilty. We're not going to make assumptions. We're not going to make judgments when it hasn't happened yet. We don't know what
Yeah.
happened. We don't know if it's true. But then you see things like that on his social media and how he acts. And I guarantee, like, that's what happened. It like switched it in my head, and I automatically was like, this man is guilty. Even if you like, that's the thing
Yeah.
about social media and how you act as a person after allegations like that, right? If you make it a point to address the public and be respectful and show a side of you that says, oh, maybe this guy really wasn't like that and it's all not true, then you continue with that thought of, I'm not going to make judgments until I know for sure what's happening. But then he acts a fool, he does stupid things, and then that kind of crosses that line as a person, as a fan, as a outsider, as somebody with just media visibility into that doesn't know really what's going on. In my head now suddenly I'm like, "Oh, that guy's not a good guy." And it's kind of crappy because we still don't know where that's going.
Well, exactly, and there's also just a courtesy, or there's a just a it's an unspoken rule where when you're in trouble, you don't go near the sore spot. When something's hurting, you don't poke it. So when they're doing this passing showcase thing, we
Mhm.
we did a little bit of contacting about that ourselves because we want to cover it because they're doing one in Edmonton, and we contacted CFL and all this, and we'll find out if we get to go down for that. But Chad Kelly's like, he's piped up and he's like, oh, let me know if you need an arm. I'll be there. I'll be there to help. And he posted that on X and reposted talking about the passing showcase. And all the other CFL fans are like, dude, maybe this is the last thing you should be worried about right now. Maybe you shouldn't be posting about this. Maybe you should be disappearing from here.
Mhm.
And when you're guilty, you subconsciously try to do those things to make it seem like you're an innocent guy and that there's nothing wrong. And once again, this isn't an innocent until proven guilty thing,
Yeah.
right? Like you
Just
said,
lay low, man. Just lay
just
low
lay
for a
low.
little bit.
Let the investigation see its way through. And if he comes out innocent, then hey, man, you know what? We all had these conversations for zero
Mhm.
reason. I'll apologize and we'll move along from it. But as of right now, somebody needs to help that guy.
Yeah.
And when it's things like this that are happening, not too many people want to help you. So I hope his agent looks out for him.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope
just
his
it.
agent looks
He
out for
does.
him.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into way worse situation
No, hope not.
than it already is. But let's talk about the second.
Yes, of course. The third jersey. The Edmonton Elks are coming out with the third jersey, right? Or it's, so we hope. But the rumors have been out there for like 2 to 3 years. I feel like we've been talking about this jersey for a while.
Yeah.
So we'll find. We might find out if they're going to be doing that on Monday. John Kirby in the herd chat had mentioned the big 75th press release on Monday. That would be pretty good to be there. We'll see. Probably not. We got day jobs to work, but if we can squeeze our way in there, we will. Anyways, so going back to it, the Edmonton Elks may be releasing a third jersey this season. The imagination could run wild, but what do you want to see if a throwback or a third jersey gets released this year? And keep in mind, this was like stuff that came out when Victor Cui was still president. He had talked about this a while ago.
I want that logo.
You want this logo?
Yeah.
This logo on the third jersey.
Yes.
Like on the sleeves, like.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we know that there's going to be a new 75th anniversary logo coming out.
Yeah, the patch.
We know. We know that there's going to be a patch, and I mean, I haven't seen the one that Dave Jameson talked about. That there was one with a patch, a jersey with a patch, back in the day as well. I don't know what those look like.
Well, so that patch will get added right
just
here.
over here.
It's going to get added
on the chest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whichever one.
Yeah, one of those. One of those.
Okay, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the big double E's on the.
Put them back on there.
Yeah.
Like the signature.
Yeah.
That we are trying to give away at 500 subscribers. While everybody is listening,
well, we have you here.
While we have you here, where's the Sarah McLaughlin? I don't have it queued up. Please, guys, if you could please go ahead and subscribe. We're driving at 500. We're trying to give away an Elks jersey. That is the
with
cause.
The signature jersey with one of those right here.
Well, just the double E's,
but the double E's. But yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool if they brought that. That's a pretty vintage, pretty traditional logo, I think, for the double E.
Yeah, I want to see the 3 stripes again. I want to see the 3 stripes with the stripes on the outside. Like they have 3 stripes right now to kind of replicate that with the people call it, what do they call it? There's a funny name, but like the beetle ball or something like that. That weird elk logo. The
one. With the antlers.
Yeah, the antler ball. Yeah,
but it does look a little bit like the.
Yeah, it's the beetle bug.
The beetle bug. Yeah.
The beetle ball.
The one that likes to collect poop. Yeah.
Dung beetle.
There you go.
you know we're getting late night when we're celebrating the Elks antler ball logo as a dung beetle.
Yeah.
But no, what else would I like to see? I want to see the gold numbers return. That's what I want to see this year on any sort of new jersey. If there is a new jersey that gets released, bring back the gold numbers.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fans are waiting to see the gold numbers again. The white numbers are a Green Bay Packers thing. It is.
Our uniforms look way too close to the Green Bay Packers.
Way too close to the Packers right now.
But they also have, don't they have yellow numbers too? Or gold numbers?
For their alternate jersey.
Yeah. I saw them on Temu or
nice.
Timu, the Love jersey for $20. Steal.
I wish we could get Elks jerseys. But yes,
I guess we'll see it. We'll see it soon enough. We'll start hearing some of that. There's going to be a press conference. I'm pretty sure they're going to unveil a whole bunch of things on Monday. I know Dave Jameson talked about that they're going to be talking about the celebrations for the 75th anniversary. So I am excited about that press conference, and
huge.
We'll see. But other than that, we do see here, John, I see that. Thank you for that. Tomorrow and Sunday, you can stream the CFL Combine on CFL Plus if you have it available. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, John Kirby. Yes, that is cool. And also said he would like to see a replica jersey of the first ever.
No.
And I agree. The first ever jersey, do a replica of that. Cool. Like those extreme throwbacks, like what Myk has.
Yeah.
That sweet jersey. Cool. from RoyalRetros.com that he has. If the Edmonton Elks were to go a route like that, even
Yeah.
like you take a look at Acme Packers. Let's talk about Packers again. The Acme Packers, they have the green with the yellow numbers, and then they also have that blue with the yellow helmet and the weird
Right.
cheese head look.
Yes. Yes. Let's not go
Yeah.
that route. But I do agree with the jersey route. Yeah, that'd be
Oh.
pretty cool.
We see you there, Ryan Messer, in the herd chat. Go Pack Go, I think is what you're trying to rhyme. Excuse me. No, that's hilarious. Thanks, Ryan. No, the New Jersey would be if I want one so bad, and I just feel like this team hasn't had one for so long. Like even the last major jersey change we went to was the Elks jersey. First, Edmonton Elks were using that Eskimos jersey with Edmonton patched
Oh,
over it.
right. Yeah.
So, when you saw that, and it was a little bit cheesy, a little bit painful. We survived that for a year, and then we moved along to the Edmonton Elks jerseys, and you were kind of hoping, like, the helmet was bigger than the jersey. So I feel like this team hasn't quite had that sweet reveal. Like, even when those jerseys came out, I was very excited. But the sleeves are boring on them. It's
Yeah.
boring. It's very traditional.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
is a pretty
well, I
boring
mean, it's
jersey.
green and gold, I guess. Like, yeah. So we haven't had a sweet jersey in a while. And even this jersey is probably like one of the more inventive in the last like 20 years.
Just because it's so bright. But that's a training jersey, isn't
No,
it?
no. This
No?
is a game jersey.
Oh,
Well,
just
not
because of the
game used
material.
or anything, but
Yeah, no.
this was the throwback for 2005, I want to say.
I'm excited to see what they come up with. Hopefully it's something a little bit more
Not throwback.
inventive. Because I do agree, John. The team has had an identity crisis since the name change.
That was that theme of that one episode there, the other episode.
I do agree with that 100%. I think they're trying to figure out exactly. I mean, we all knew who the Eskimos were.
Yeah.
And the Edmonton Elks are the same team as the Edmonton Eskimos, but there has been a massive change, right? When you think about marketing and just design and everything has to change when you start adding, antlers to your logo. So it's they definitely have to get a little bit more inventive, I think, with the way that they build things and create things and make them a little bit more interesting. And
so that means this year we're gonna see an antler on one of the E's. I think that is a great point to close the fan forum. Here, final thought here is Green Bay Packers versus the Edmonton Elks. Whoever loses has to change their color scheme. I like this, John. I like this in the herd chat.
That'd be a very amusing game because people they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They're playing with different rules. They're playing, like, it would be chaos, and nobody would know because they look exactly the same. And nobody would know whose team is, which player
Canadian
belongs
rules.
to what.
Canadian rules football. Let's go.
That'd be cool. They should have American NFL teams coming in, just
play
like
CFL.
Play
they
CFL
used to.
for.
We used to do see exhibition games. Yeah,
I would love that. That'd be so much fun.
It's so 1960s.
That'd be funny. But hey, bring it back. It's the
Bring it
75th anniversary. It's time for bringing those vintage traditions. I would have fun watching that. So
I would. Hey, I think it would sell. I think it would sell. Everybody, that is all the time we have for today. We're gonna shut down that fan forum, and we're gonna shut off the stream here momentarily. We'd like to thank Myk for joining us on the show today. Myk Aussie, shout out you. Man, that was fantastic. Thanks again for joining us. You the viewer, you the listener, guys, you rock. Herd chat, pop it off tonight. Love to see it. So whether you are tuning in on YouTube, aka Shotgun Sports, or on X, or on Facebook, or you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, Edmonton Sports Talk, or on your favorite podcatcher, we salute you. Thank you so much. Guys, by the way, we didn't even talk about it. We got to make sure that is in there next time. shotgunsportsnetwork.ca/shop. We are the Elks Herd shirts now available.
Mhm.
Please check out the shop, shotgunsportsnetwork.ca/shop. Yes, Nathan, it is over. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine, aka Steven Elks.
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call, and we will see you all on the next episode. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good night.
Have an awesome one.